that feeling of a reward, that feeling of gratitude when you push through those last couple of reps in your workout, when those reps mean as much to you as the big things in life, that feeling is, you can't even describe it. It's so beautiful. This morning I went to the gym at 6 a.m. as always. It is Sunday, and I did my MMA training, my striking training on my own, with a circuit training at the very end of that workout too, right? And the striking was easy for me. I'm getting used to it. At the very beginning, yes, it's hard to get up in the morning, but as soon as I step into my car, as soon as I get out of bed even, I'm ready, right? I'm ready to go. I put on my clothes, I get into my car, and then I'm like, yes, sir. I made it out the house at 6 a.m. It's go time. I can go to the gym now. I can really exhaust myself and get rewarded for putting in that work in the morning. So I come to the gym, I do my striking. It was all, pretty easy. But then the second part of my workout is a circuit. I usually don't do that. I just started doing that because I'm a bodybuilder, right? I'm focused on bodybuilding. I want to build muscle mainly, but doing that circuit training is just the best thing that I've ever done, or not that I've ever done, but that I've done in the recent past, because like my sweat is running into my eyes right now. It's gonna be hard to keep this up without no AC, but I don't want to make the sound any worse of the video. Anyways, I get into the gym, get to the circuit training. I'm already like, pretty gassed from the striking. And then as soon as I get into the circuit, like the first couple of exercises, I still feel good. And once I get to the end, like, it gets harder. The last thing I do is sled pushes. We have like a big turf in the gym where you can just sled push up and down like this, maybe like one football field, like up and then one football field back. So it's quite some distance, right? The first circuit round I do, I'm pretty fucked at the end, right? It's hard for me to push through on the sled. And then I get into the next round after like only 2 minutes of rest. My heart is still up, my heart is still pumping pretty crazy. But I'm getting into the next round. I do the first couple exercises. I have my burpees in there as well. It hurts, right? My mind is already telling me like, yeah, man, you gotta stop. You should go home. You should take a rest, right? But I'm just saying no, right? I want to be in control. What I always say, I'm gonna be in control over my mind. My body is stronger than my mind. And so I get to the last exercise, the sled push, and man, I'm pushing that sled up the turf. I get to the very end of the gym, and then I always take out like the sticks that you have in there, right? I take them out because I don't want to rotate the thing. It's kind of annoying. So I take out the sticks, I put them into the other side, and usually the last couple of weeks, I always took a rest. Like I took 30 seconds rest until I pushed like the very end back, like on the turf back. But this time I just took out the sticks, I put them in on the other side, and I went straight to work. I pushed the sled all the way to the back end again where I first started, and trust me, like, that shit was not easy. I was just looking at the floor, trying to not look up so I couldn't see the end of the turf, right? I was just looking down at the floor and thinking to myself, you got to push through, you got to keep going, you got to keep going. My lower body was hurting like crazy. My legs were starting to give out, but I didn't stop. I pushed through, and I got to the very end, and the feeling of relief, the feeling of self-satisfaction for, pushing yourself for muting that voice in your head to just keep going, to keep persevering. That's the feeling, that's one of the best feelings that you can get in life, when you overcome that obstacle in your head, when you just keep going, especially with physical pain, because your body is capable of so much more than your mind is trying to tell you. So I get to the very end, I'm done, right? I feel so good. I just lay down on the floor, my heart is pumping like crazy, and that is when it all matters, man. These are the moments in life that are just the best. Those are the best moments in life, when you put in all that hard work and then you get that feeling of reward afterwards. You're just there on the floor, your heart is pumping, and you're taking in all that emotion in that exact moment. And Like, I can't stress this enough, how important it is to work out, how important it is to be physically active, because it not only strengthens your body, it also strengthens your mind, your control over your mind. Like I always say, right? You want to be in the driver's seat, and as long as you can get yourself out of bed in the morning, as long as you can go through those workouts and keep pushing even when it hurts, even when your mind is telling you to stop, that's how you get control. That's how you get control. That's how you build discipline, and that's how you build character. And as I said, when those last couple of reps, when those last couple of seconds in the gym mean as much to you as the big things in life, mean as much to you as getting that promotion, getting married, like all those great things in life, right? Your life has everything in store for you. And whatever you ask for, it will be given to you, as long as you put in the work, as long as you work hard, as long as you're not lazy, and as long as you just keep going when it all matters. Man, it does matter. Those last couple reps, they do matter, trust me. And as soon as you understand that, your life will get so much easier, your life will get so much better. You'll be so much more grateful for everything that life offers you. For example, when I'm coming home now, right? I'm recording this video right now. I could also go home, but I want to share this feeling with you. I want to share this experience with you that I'm having in there, right? So when I'm going home, I'm taking that shower, I'm making my breakfast, and for the breakfast, this is something that I started just like a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week. So usually, you know, whenever I did my breakfast, I would snack on like a fruit. It's always the same breakfast, 4 eggs, 2 slices of whole grain bread, and like 2 fruits. I usually switch between blackberries, kiwi, and peaches at the moment. So that with a cup of coffee. So usually what I would do is, when I'm preparing the breakfast, I would just snack on, you know, a couple of fruits while I'm making it. But now I go through this workout. I record a video or a story on Instagram or something, you know, that's going to grow my business, that's going to help me accomplish my goals as well, before I even go home. And then I go home, take the shower, then I make the breakfast, and I'm holding myself back. I'm not eating any of that breakfast before it's completely finished. And then when I sit down at the table, I have that beautiful meal in front of me. I just enjoy it so much more. It tastes 100 times better when you've earned it, with what you did before, and when you're not greedy, when you don't start eating immediately once you get home. And if you practice this, guys, if you really practice this, I'm telling you that you will be so much more grateful for everything that life has to offer for you. Even those small things, right? I'm talking about a breakfast right now. And some of you guys, it's just normal thing. You wake up in the morning, you just eat something, right? But when you do it this way, when you really remind yourself as well that this is not, you know, this is not normal, right? There's people in the world who are suffering greatly from having no food and having nothing to live off. So just remind yourself of that always, and earn your stripes, earn your breakfast, earn all those great things in life by putting in the work first, and you will be so much more grateful. You will feel so much better about yourself, about your day. Everything in life will get easier. Everything in life will get so much more beautiful. I'm walking out the gym, the sun is shining. I know that I'm going to get to work on my clients' check-ins today. You know, once a week I do check in with them. They have their check-in sheets which they fill out, where they have their weight, their training, their nutrition all filled out for the week, and then I can look at that and help them make more progress this upcoming week. And I'm also doing that for myself, right? I'm coaching myself as well, because I need to be in the best shape of my life as well, where I'm getting at right now. So I just come out the gym and I'm grateful. I'm ready to not even start the day. I already started the day, right? I did the hardest thing at the very beginning of the day, and now I'm ready to have an even greater rest of the day. And it makes me so happy. It makes me proud of myself, if I'm being honest. This is what really makes me proud of myself, when I'm showing up, when I'm constantly doing the stuff that I need to be doing. And once you start practicing this, I'm telling you, you will have the same feeling. And then one more thing I wanted to touch on, because I started it in the last video I did, is just the weed addiction that I was going through from the age of 15 to I think 20. that should be the rough time I was addicted to weed. I was smoking almost every day, and it started pretty, pretty normal, as you would say. I was just hanging out with some friends, and they said, come on, let's just smoke some. I wasn't really thinking much of it, so I started doing that, right? And then it became like a weekly thing. We would always hang out on the weekends, and then from there on it got worse, man. I got into like high school basically, and all the guys I was always smoking with were in my class. So we would hang out, we would smoke at school, we would smoke every day of the week. I would smoke just by myself, not even with friends, because I needed it in order to fall asleep. So I was physically addicted to it because I couldn't sleep without it. And trust me guys, it made my life so much worse. Before I started smoking, I was really a joyful young boy, right? I was getting into middle school. I had all my friends, and I was doing a lot of shit in school, don't get me wrong. I was joking around a lot, but I was still in full control of my mind, of my life. I was just doing the things that I love doing. And then at some point, the weed just took over, and it turned me from that open and really friendly and joyful version of myself into like a bitter and just unconfident and lazy version of myself. And the more I smoked, the worse it got, right? It took control of my life to the point where I wasn't even able anymore to do the simplest things. I had no self-confidence. I was afraid of talking to people. I was constantly thinking of what others would think of me. And I was, for example, calling a pizza place, right? I was going to order some pizza, and I didn't have the ability, I didn't have the confidence to speak to the person on the other side of the phone. That's how anxious I got from smoking weed all the time. And look at me now. I'm recording a YouTube video, even if it only has 100 views. I don't care about that. I'm putting my voice out there. I'm speaking to you guys. And the same thing goes for my Instagram page and everything that I do nowadays. I'm in a so much better position in life right now. And if you're still smoking weed watching this video, I demand you to stop. It's the worst thing that you can possibly do to yourself, to your brain, to your body, to your spirit, to your mind, to everything that you have. Because you don't see life as it is. You only see life through that lens, right? You see life with all that brain fog in your head, and you can't even think straight. Once you get off the weed, I'm telling you, you will feel so different. You will feel so much better. You will feel like you're in control again. And when you're constantly smoking, you're not in control. Trust me. Even if you want to convince yourself, even if you're trying to convince yourself that you're productive with your day while you are smoking the weed, you're not. And I stopped because I discovered this passion, right? I discovered the gym. This was my escape from smoking the weed. This was my escape window, getting off that. When COVID came around, that's when I really started working out at home. And at first I was still smoking, right? But because I was so isolated, I was able to kind of go back on that and smoke less and less and less. And I started hanging out with other people. I started hanging out with one of my friends from back home who I'm forever grateful for. If you see this, you know who I'm talking about. You know I'm talking about you, right? So he had a gym at that time. We would always go train early in the morning like I do right now. We would pull up to the gym at 5 a.m. so nobody would see us, nobody would catch us, because you weren't technically allowed to go to the gym during COVID, during those times. So we would always go there early, and at some point I just had to stop smoking because the gym was more important to me, right? It took over my life. Instead, I was constantly thinking that if I stay up smoking, I'm not gonna make it to the gym in the morning. So I stopped, and through just hanging out with him and working out with him and seeing how good his life was, how in control he was of his life, and another guy who was constantly coming with us, I decided to completely cut it out of my life. And it was the best decision that I've ever made. Ever since I stopped smoking, my life went uphill from there on. I gained more self-confidence, and I just sat down and I rediscovered myself, you could almost say, because I totally forgot who I was while I was smoking all the time. I didn't know what I was passionate about. Yeah guys, I'm sorry about that. My phone just overheated and thought it would go out. But what I was getting at, I'm home now, but what I was getting at is that once I stopped the weed, I regained consciousness. All the brain fog was just removed. I saw things clearer, and I rediscovered myself once I stopped. You know, the weed was just suppressing the real personality that I had, the real character traits that I had within me. The weed suppressed it for 5 years. 5 years. I was living life. I was just wasting pretty much every single day doing the same thing. And, you know, looking back at it, yes, it sounds bad, right? It sounds terrible to just waste 5 valuable years of your life. But it all led me to the point where I'm at right now. And I'm just very grateful for everything. And maybe if I never started smoking, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Who knows? God has a plan for every single one of us. But what I really want to stress with this is just that if you're still smoking weed, you are a loser. You have to stop. The only thing it does is it corrupts your mind. It turns you into a worse version of yourself, and you will never make anything out of your life if you smoke weed. And that's just the truth that I've experienced myself, that a lot of other people have experienced as well. If you want control over your own life, you need to stop. But with that being said, I'm about to go home, take that shower, make my breakfast, and enjoy every single bite of it. That's another thing that the weed takes away from you. You don't enjoy life as much as you do when you're sober. Okay, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. If you're struggling with a weed addiction, you have to stop. Send me a DM. Comment on this YouTube video if you struggle. I want the other people watching this to support you to stop. I will support you to the best of my abilities to stop as well, to get control back over your life. And as I always say, if anything is up, if you guys want to know anything about coaching, about nutrition, about fitness, about conquering your vices, about stopping bad things in your life, hit me up on Instagram, shoot me a DM, comment on this YouTube video, and I will get back to every single one of you. Take care.